Solana is emerging as one of the favorable destinations for stablecoin transactions. By July of 2025, 2.3 trillion of stablecoin volume had been processed.
Do you think that there are things that can maybe slow it down? Hey all, this is Zach from AY Vision. Today we'll be speaking with DJ, Head of Research over at Birdeye. Thank you very much for being here. How are things going?
Good. How are you? Nice to be here as well.
Amazing. So I'm Zach. We'll be hosting the show. We'll be asking DJ a few questions, a bit of an in-depth of what she does and what she's responsible for over at Birdeye. So basically, for people who don't know what Birdeye is and how it fits into Web3 and the stablecoin ecosystem, could you give us a bit of an introduction of how that plays out and what Birdeye is and what they do?
Yeah, for sure. So for those who haven't known, Birdeye is the pioneer crypto intelligence company. So we focus on empowering traders, builders, and institutions with real-time and customizable blockchain. We're currently operating on 10 chains, including Solana, Sui, and major EVM chains such as Ethereum, Base, BNB chain, etc. And we currently have two major products. The first one, which I think it's more familiar to a majority of listeners here, is the Birdeye.so user-facing app. It's an all-in-one trading data tool, and we want to empower alpha traders with real-time price charts, smart money flows, undiscovered gems with rich historical data across more than 300 exchanges. And the second product that we're offering is Birdeye Data Services. It's a high-performance data provider that delivers real-time, accurate, and comprehensive on-chain data across tokens, wallets, trades, and protocols. We're currently offering more than 60 APIs and 8 WebSocket types. We power teams of multiple size, from fast-moving startups to global leaders like Phantom, Radium, Coinbase, and Bybit. So yeah, that's basically what Birdeye is. And what I'm doing at Birdeye right now is head of research. We are actually working on a new initiative. We will be releasing the first ever Birdeye produced report on stablecoins. And the reason why we are so fascinated about stablecoin at this stage is that, well, it's a major topic, major trend right now, right? And it's the backbone of the DeFi ecosystem. And it so happens that Birdeye provides historical trading data, and so we can use that historical stablecoin trading data to paint like a comprehensive and panoramic. Sorry.
Oh,
And we can
okay.
paint a big picture about what stablecoins are actually performing in crypto today.
Okay. And what led up to Birdeye basically saying, okay, let's do the stablecoin report? Can you outline any differentiation between this report and perhaps other reports that other platforms are putting out? Like, why did you guys say let's do this?
Yeah, so I think it starts from our own curiosity because, well, we're in this Web3 world where stablecoin is such a big thing. I think like a few years ago, stablecoin has proven itself to be the crypto killer app, like the first one. And now in this year, we're actually seeing it moving a little bit into traditional finance with global payments. And we're seeing this trend where stablecoins evolve from being a DeFi backbone into actually a payment disruptor. And you can see that the lot of institutions are jumping in either creating their own stablecoin or creating a stablecoin payment first layer one. So we're curious about how this trend plays out and how stablecoin has evolved from, the smaller world of DeFi into the bigger world of traditional finance. And so we start with this initiative, and we found out that what Birdeye can offer that makes this report different from other existing stablecoin report is our own rich data of trading activities on DEX. So if you see other reports, you'll see, the bigger trends, the performance on centralized exchanges, but you don't see a lot of data on decentralized exchanges trading, and you don't really see what on-chain, you don't really see how stablecoins perform on chains, how wallets are doing, how many markets are these stablecoins operating on, how much liquidity do you have on each of the chain. So these are the things that Birdeye data can provide, and that
Like
will make like a
you
more
guys are interpreting that data,
Mhm.
in all these different ways,
Exactly.
So I think that's the important part. Okay. So while conducting these reports, I mean, you've been working at Birdeye for a few months now, so I'm sure you've had some experience at conducting these reports. Have you learned anything thus far? Have you noticed any changes, or can you mention any significant changes that you've learned on your way while doing these reports?
Yeah. So along with producing this report, I found out that there hasn't been like a place where there's a really detailed and comprehensive landscape of all the active stablecoins. So we decided to make one just because we need like a comprehensive picture, right? And we currently have more than 200 active stablecoins on our landscape. And I think one of the interesting insights that we got from this landscape is that the number of stablecoins that are crypto backed, it's higher than the number of stablecoins that are fiat backed. But the market share of fiat backed stablecoins outnumber, uh, it's much bigger than the market share of other stablecoins combined. It's mostly driven by market supply of USDT and USDC, which are like the biggest stablecoins right now.
And those are the majors, right?
Yeah, for sure. And so the reason why fiat-backed stablecoins are less in number, because you need a lot of resources to have like a big fiat reserve that can keep your asset peg, right? And talking about reserve, Tether and Circle only, they have a lot of UST bills, US Treasury bills in their reserve to keep USDT and USDC
For the
stable.
backing,
Yeah, they're backing with T-bills, and they're
right?
together currently ranked 17th among nations that purchase the most T-bills from U.S. Treasuries. So they're like surpassing Saudi Arabia. They're on par with South Korea, and because they're constantly buying more, I think they're gonna climb the rank really, really
I mean,
quickly.
you often see on Twitter on your feed, like Tether has minted 1.5 billion.
Yeah.
You see all these, these reports, and it's constant, especially when the market is very active. You constantly see them minting or basically, adding more money to the treasury.
hmm
Um, uh, so I'm sure it's not difficult to see.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
right.
And also I think one of the biggest indicator of growth is that the time when I finished writing this report, the current supply of stablecoin all over the market is more than 250 billion, and by today it has surpassed 290 billion. So
They're
I
like
think
25% of the total crypto market cap.
yeah.
We're at there.
Yeah, so I think by the end of September it should surpass like 300 billion
Okay.
dollars in market cap. So it's like growing with a very fast pace,
Okay.
adding like
Um, uh,
billions every week.
and do you guys like what blockchain is using the most amount of traffic of these stable coins?
Yeah, definitely Ethereum. It's leading, and Ethereum and Tron, I think both of them account for more than roughly 80% of the circulating supply. So
Okay.
Tron is mostly you know m- the biggest stablecoin on Tron is USDT. That's
When
like
you
they
say that Ethereum and Tron are the biggest blockchains that stable coins, does that is it where stable coins are being used on these blockchains? Is that what you mean? Or
yeah, I
what
mean like in terms of
so
supply. So
volume passing through, yeah?
yeah,
So in terms
so
of volume, we're saying, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, so Tron has a really big edge where for stablecoin transaction. So most of them are like cross-border transfer remittance.
Okay.
Ethereum has big liquidity, so a lot of DeFi tradings are happening on Ethereum.
Okay.
Um, and the third one would be Solana.
Third one. So
Yeah, Solana is seeing like really high growth in this year. So they are growing their supply from September last year to September this year. The stablecoin supply on Solana has grown like 8 times. So
yeah,
they are really doubling down on this stablecoin. Yeah.
that's good. That's good. Okay. I mean, yes, I mean, I feel like Solana has so much volume passing through it as well the past year. So that's why I was like, okay, Ethereum, Tron, I was actually surprised to see that you didn't mention Solana at the beginning. I thought that it would be at the top, but apparently not. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, okay. And what do you think makes Solana becoming such a big player? Why do you think they've been so active over the past year? How come?
Yeah, I think Solana is emerging as one of the favorable destination for stablecoin transaction because of its low fee, high transaction speed, and Solana is positioning itself more towards the payment scene. And if
Mm,
when it comes to payment, you want it to be like just finalized just like that, right? You don't want any latency. You want immediate finalization. You want low fees. You want great UX, and Solana is greatly positioned to be in that place.
I
And
agree.
also one of the reason why stablecoin supply on Solana is growing so fast in 2000 in this year is that the meme season is coming back and they're trading a lot with stablecoin.
Right, right.
Yeah.
That culture has definitely grown, I feel like, over the past year, 2 years. I'm sure you've noticed a lot more volume on decentralized exchanges over the past 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to touch on, because you mentioned earlier that stablecoins can disrupt, payments in a big way. Could you touch a bit more on that? Could you go in a little more detail as to how or why? Let's say for the average person, what does that actually mean?
Yeah. So when you talk about payment, you mentioned like Visa and MasterCard, like
Right.
PayPal. Though those are the biggest name in cross-border payment, right? But the thing is, by July of 2025, um, 2.3 trillion of stablecoin volume had been processed, and it almost doubled Visa's volume, which is 1.3 trillion. So you see that stablecoin volume has already, double Visa's volume. And you know, on Fireblocks only, they report that their payments, crypto used for payments has grew from 87 million in 2021 to 21 billion in 2025. So the speed of growth is really, really high.
It's like an
And
exponential chart.
exactly, it's just steep like this,
Right.
right? Um, and the reason why it is it becomes so popular is that it has a lot of advantages compared to traditional payment, right? On blockchain, you have instant finality. In traditional finance, it takes around like 3 to 5 business days to finalize the cross-border transaction, right?
Right.
In terms of fees, stablecoin fees, well, for example, on Solana, it's like dirt cheap compared to traditional finance fee because there are a lot of middlemen um,
True.
in the whole clunky structure of traditional payment when you want to finalize the cross border payment.
Right.
And also another thing is that on traditional payment you have to rely on business hours. On blockchain is 24/7. You can just finalize any transaction anytime,
I'd like
everywhere.
to add, it happens instantly, you don't need to stay getting permission. I mean, if you're talking about large amounts of money, typically it's not gonna happen instantly, right? There are
Yes.
regulations, and that can be very annoying. Whereas the thing of location as well, I mean, you can send it anywhere to anyone in the world very
Yeah.
quickly. So you can see why volume definitely increases. Okay. So okay. So that's why basically volume is increasing
Yes.
on these stable coins. Okay. Do you think like it can be a real competition? So because most of the volume is done via these transactions, right, between wallets. It's not really done on the market per se, when buying goods and services. Do you think that crypto will expand to that in terms of payments? I'm sure um, uh, there are many startups coming and they're actually trying to integrate and
Yeah.
spread into that market. But do you think that it could be a real competitor to current card networks in the future?
I think it's already happening actually. So, as I mentioned earlier, stablecoins for volume are already rivaling Visa, right? And you see a lot of large institutions jumping in this field, especially this year. So you see Stripe, the biggest, payment, pay, Stripe, the giant payment processor with like
Right,
billions of dollars processed every year, they're jumping in stablecoin with their, bridge acquisition of more than $1 billion. They're also, I think their current. Oh, sorry. Never mind. So you see
no,
Stripe acquiring Bridge. You see MoonPay partnering with Mastercard to issue stablecoin payment across more than 150 million merchants all around the world. And you
right,
see like Fiserv issuing a payment first stablecoin on Solana by the end of the year. And you also see like payment first L1, like Plasma jumping on. You see Stripe building Tempo. You see Circle building Arc. So those are all of the indicators to show that the big names are jumping in, and there are stablecoin payment
no
and
worries.
stablecoin payment are actually not a dream anymore. It's coming.
Like
It's
I feel,
coming
and I
soon.
feel like, as you mentioned, those partnerships with Visa and Mastercard. To me, it seems they definitely want to take advantage of all the volume happening,
Yeah,
right?
they don't want to be
That's a
left
good
behind.
indicator.
Totally.
That's definitely
Yeah.
an indicator of integration already happening. When you see big names like that actually wanting to partner up, because I'm sure that's definitely the main reason there. Okay, so we can agree there's definitely competition happening. I mean, if you really think about it, there wasn't competition in the past because I mean those are the main monopolies of payment processing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but now that crypto is getting integrated, it's in addition to just card and cash. Um,
Yes.
uh,
Totally.
okay.
Yeah.
So, and who would you say are the main or the OG companies in Web3 that started to integrate stablecoins? I mean, I know we have Circle and Tether, obviously, but what platforms were early to start integrating stablecoins in crypto? Um, uh, yeah,
Um, I mean, we have, I think a few years ago, we have PayPal, enabling you to transact Bitcoins, and they also recently launched PYUSD, where you can, use PYUSD to transfer for your friends and merchants if they accept PYUSD on PayPal. And you have Solana Pay. Solana Pay is integrated, and I think a few others also integrated on Shopify. So if you're building with Shopify and you're building e-commerce, you can choose you can have an option of accepting stablecoin as a form of payment. So there already has been some kind of movement in the past, but it hasn't really become like a real thing. Not well, not a real thing, like a real major thing.
right.
Um,
Until these big
before
big,
these big institution jump in.
okay,
And when you see like one institution jumping in and other like
like a domino effect,
immediately follow, right? And they don't want to be, out of the game. They don't want
right?
this, this giant cake to be monopolized. They want a piece
Exactly,
of that.
of course.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you know of any regulations? I know because obviously, if stable coins are entering into the market or becoming more, accessible and easy to use, obviously there's going to be regulation around that. Are you informed of any regulations happening, maybe in Asia where you're at?
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah. So last year we have Mika being passed in Europe, and this year we have Genius Act being passed in the States. So these are very very big milestone in crypto and stablecoin, because biggest markets like Europe and the States are regulating and are accepting stablecoin. So
Okay.
what Genius is mandating is that there shouldn't be any yield bearing stablecoin. So that would position stablecoin as pure payment tools, right? You can only have fungible tokens as exchange. You cannot have it as, yield bearing, or it would be like a security. So I think Genius Act passing in the state mandating stablecoin to be non-yield bearing would be like a major force in driving stablecoin payment in the States. And as of other countries, I know that Hong Kong, they are working on the Hong Kong ordinance to
Sorry,
permit companies
the,
to issue stablecoins in Hong Kong.
we were talking about the Genius Act and Mika getting passed. Are there any closing remarks that you'd like to say on that?
Another point that I think is very interesting about the Genius Act is that the framework introduced multiple licensing pathway. So like a broader spectrum of entities, including even non-bank institution, can be a stablecoin issuer. And this will spark like a wave of new market entrants. So there will be a lot of other entities being legalized to participate in this market. And we'll be able to see a lot of new flourishing stablecoins with,
Okay.
interesting designs and more, a lot more composable that can be integrated into payment rails. And I think that will be something that we can obviously look forward to in the next, 2 to 3 years.
Okay. Okay. And now I'd like to go a bit back. As you know, at the beginning, you told me Birdeye, what led up to, starting doing these research reports. Are there any other things that you guys are working on? Like what's next? I'm sure, there are so many other people working on different things. What's next for Birdeye?
Yeah, so specifically on the reports, we are working on a series of reports. So this stablecoin report would be the first one of the whole series. And the next one we are working on that we expect to release by the end of the year is a real world asset report. So, stablecoin, if you think about it, it's one type of real world asset, right? So stablecoin is the first mover, is already very successful. And we're seeing now in this year specifically a rise of tokenized assets being tradable, buyable on chain. So like X stocks, Ondo Finance, global markets, etc. And we're really excited to be working on this real world asset report to see where this trend is going and how we're going to be able to take advantage of this in the
Okay.
coming years.
Nice. And when conducting, like, are you how big is your team? Do you mainly work alone, or are you constantly working with your colleagues? Tell me a bit about your day in the life and how does it actually happen? What do you actually how does it actually look like hands on?
Yeah, we're actually having a team with, I have one other analyst who's working with me on crawling the data and analyzing insights. We're also having help from our head of data in Birdeye to tackle the data, and there's also
Okay.
like a front end engineer working on making this as beautiful as possible so that everybody can get easy access to it. And there's the whole marketing team behind to push this initiative. So I would say this is a very interdisciplinary work where um, I work mostly with the report, but there's also a lot of other departments working to push this with me.
Okay.
And as this, report initiative grow, we are also to we're also expecting to make the team bigger and having more
Okay.
analysts coming on scene to produce, much more in-depth reports.
Okay. I see. And so what, like being in the research department, um, uh, do you need to be like chronically online to always be with the new trends? Like, is that true? Because I'm assuming like if you miss a few days, right? Like, crypto moves very fast. In my opinion, it moves very fast. So I'm assuming, you know, when doing these reports, you need to be constantly online looking for what's new. Is that the case? What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I wouldn't say like 24/7, but I would be online for like 16, 17 hours per day other than, sleeping. Um,
No.
because, like for one thing, for
Mm,
example, I would say the stablecoin supply, right? The moment I finished writing it is like 250 billions. And now it's approaching like 300 billion dollars already. So like if you're not online, the moment you publish the report, your data will be outdated. So
right.
like there is a lot of I would say, negotiating with the data team like, hey, I think I need to update this a little bit because, they
Right.
already broke a new all-time high and I
And not
don't
only
think that
that, I mean, you have to
exactly.
also be in the loop with the repercussions and the market of the stablecoin itself, you know. So you have
Hmm.
the supply going up, you have obviously the news factor, you know, on so many other things happening, because stablecoins are going, you know, sort of mainstream, if you would say, because the use case has increased a lot. Um,
Yeah.
uh, okay. So would you say in general that do you think stable coins matter? Do you think that it's important, you know, to be well versed, to use them? Um, why do you think they're actually growing? Like, why do you think they matter? Do they matter?
Well, I think that matters a lot. I think they are currently like the backbone of the whole crypto industry, I would say. So
Mhm.
like you see other use cases being worked on but not fully developed, and there's still a lot of experimentations happening in other subsectors of crypto, but stablecoin itself is it's maturing. It's one of the most mature use case of crypto. And I think especially for the people who are not eligible, well, people who are unbanked, per se, because you see a lot of stablecoin payment and stablecoin volumes are appearing in well, third world country, if you will, like Latin America, Southeast Asia, Vietnam. It's one of the a really big market for
Okay.
crypto in general and stablecoin in particular.
Okay.
I think it's a genius invention, really.
Okay.
You have this, stable asset that is packed to one currency, and you are able to transact it with minimal fees, instant finality, anytime, anywhere. I think that's one of the biggest, innovation of crypto. Yeah.
Okay. Do you guys, you personally, when you know, I feel like this isn't the first thing that you've conducted research on, right? Did you always enjoy conducting research in Web3 in general? And why did you go into stable coins as a niche? Like, because I'm like, I mean, there are so many aspects, right, that you could
Mhm.
have picked. So,
Yeah.
um, uh, tell me a bit about that.
I actually did several reports before this one already. So before joining Birdeye, I worked in a wallet team in the Polkadot ecosystem. So
Okay.
I've been producing reports on the Polkadot ecosystem, as a whole, and there's one deep dive reports on Polkadot
Okay.
staking, like reporting on the staking status in the Polkadot chain.
Okay.
So I have had some experience working on reports in the Web3 world, and when joining Birdeye, I think that is the time when stablecoin is such a hot topic. Like everyone is talking about stablecoin, everyone is talking about M&A and stablecoin. This company acquiring that company to empower their stablecoin stack, like MoonPay acquiring Helio, Iron, etc. And we were discussing internally, and we're like, hey, I think you have some experience working on report. How about you diving a little bit into stablecoin and see what is the current state? Like, why is everybody so excited about stablecoin?
Right.
And why is it like moving from DeFi into payment? And what is what is the state in the upcoming years.
Okay.
So that's why we dive into stablecoin as the first topic in our reporting. Yeah.
That's a great answer. And in your opinion, I feel like education in the space is very important. For someone that is wants to start using stablecoins as payments, where do you think is the best way to get educated on the subject? Because obviously these reports may be detailed. Do you think that it is a good way to get educated? Obviously, in terms of data, definitely. But what do you think is the best way to get educated on the subject?
If there's a new user who hasn't been in crypto, I think let's get started with the basics, right? What is wallet? What is the chain? What is, gas fee, etc. When I first started, I personally find Whiteboard Crypto on YouTube. That's a very helpful channel to learn, the basics about crypto, what it's stablecoin and whatnot. And also, if you search on Google right now, there's a lot of resources on what is stablecoin. Like I think Investopedia also has a page on stablecoin,
Hmm.
and other major institutions like Coinbase, Binance, etc. They have a very in-depth explanation of what stablecoins is and you know what is the potential of this particular asset. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think, starts with the basics and then climb up from there. Yeah. I
Definitely.
mean, to be honest, if you want to use stablecoin, you really need to understand the notion of like a wallet and gas fee, like for the lease, right?
Okay.
So start from the most simple and then work your ways toward
Okay.
things. But also, that's a very interesting question because I think that we will see a lot more UX improvements towards stablecoin because when you want to use that as a payment, you want
Right.
your parents to be able to use it. You want your grandparents to be able to use it, right? So you need to simplify these steps and you need to simplify concept. You need to simplify it to the point where you just only need a card or Apple Pay on your phone and you just touch. And then everything is like settled like that. You don't even need to understand all of the very complicated tech stack behind it. So that's also the place where I think we'll see a lot of innovations in the
I
upcoming
agree.
years.
And not only that, I mean, even for the Birdeye platform, right? I feel like education in general is important. For example, does Birdeye? Do you guys have like how do you guys tackle education on the platform, right? Because obviously, as a beginner, if you go on Birdeye, it may you may not know exactly how to operate the platform in general.
Yeah.
How do you guys tackle that? Because I'm sure that's obviously a very good way to onboard new users, right?
hmm
So, could you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah. We're currently producing a series of videos on how to use Birdeye as a beginner, as a new user. There's also like a very detailed documentation that is being published really soon on our
Hmm.
docs site. And we actually most recently integrated MoonPay widget on our platform. So users who jump into Birdeye and want to, they see the price of a token, they want to get that token, they want to trade this token, but they haven't got crypto on their wallet, they can immediately buy the token via MoonPay on-ramp and off-ramp widget.
Okay.
So that would make this experience much easier than having to create an account on Sex and then transfer that back to your wallet, etc.
Okay.
So MoonPay integration is one of the recent improvement that we um, put on the birdeye.so website. So
Right.
it's easier for users to get
That's
onboarded.
that's very important. I feel like education is very important. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the way you're gonna, get new users onto the platform, try and retain them, etc. I want to
Mhm.
go back on the stablecoin report. Okay, so we have the report. How does it actually play into Birdeye, right? So you guys said what led you to do it. How does it actually play into Birdeye? Tell us, like, once the report is finalized, what do you guys actually do with it? That's what I'd like to know.
Yeah. So on this specific stablecoin report, we're partnering with Perena, the stablecoin protocol on Solana, and MoonPay, the global on-ramp and off-ramp providers. And we will be distributing this stablecoin via, social media channels of our own and of our co-authors. And we're actually, if you think about it, this reports showcase what we can do with the Birdeye data. So if there's anyone curious about how to obtain that data, they can go into Birdeye and then get the data on their own. And
And
then,
this is public, right?
yeah, absolutely. This
That's
will be
great.
public on like a website, like subdomain of the birdeye.so website, and would
That's
also be
great.
available as PDF. So anyone who would like to read it on PDF, print it out, they can also do it. We'll be having it available. Yes.
That's great. That's great. Okay. No, I mean, I've definitely learned a lot. You've definitely, I feel like anyone that watches this definitely learned something new about stablecoins, or maybe they didn't realize, how big it actually is, how big the market actually is. Okay. Thank you very much. So I mean, I feel like we went in a lot of good detail. I think
Yeah.
that's very good. Um, uh, what is your in the future, right? How do you personally see, or how do you want to see stablecoins growing? In what direction do you want it personally to go, right? Because obviously right now, things are going great, because it's growing, right? But if you had to say, for example, where would you like to see things with it?
I would like to see a lot more UX improvements in crypto in general and stablecoin in particular. I want to see my parents being able to pay with stablecoins on their, trip abroad, even within the country itself.
Right.
And I want it to go mass adoption. Like um, there would need to be a lot more of infrastructure improvement, UX improvement for it to be able to be accepted worldwide.
I agree.
But I would definitely want to see it on mass adoption and having my parents and grandparents being able
Right.
to use it.
Would you say, like, right now the onboarding process can be a bit too tedious for certain people?
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. I mean, I feel like if you're not really into crypto, right, you
Mhm.
don't really stay bothering to try use it for daily life, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I see. I agree with you there. Um, you know, okay, I see that. Okay, and where would you see um, uh, stablecoin adoption in the next, 5 to 10 years? Do you think the exponential chart will keep on being, going up? Are there any limitations? Do you think? Do you think that there are certain things that can stop the growth, like regulations? I mean, as we know, for quite a long time, governments and institutions and banks are against it,
Mhm.
or maybe they have been against it, but they're leaning towards a positive outlook now.
Mhm.
So, in your opinion, do you think that it will keep growing? Do you think that there are things that can maybe slow it down?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think regulation would be one of the very important factor that will decide how much of the growth room that we have in the upcoming years. For now, as we can see, things are playing out now is quite favorable towards crypto and towards stablecoin. But I mean, who knows, right?
Right.
The Europe and the States are leading in accepting stablecoin, but I think in other countries, regulators are quite a bit struggling to kind of see how to play things out on in their own country. There's a Coinbase prediction of the stablecoin market could exceed $1.2 trillion by 2028, and I think that's a very reasonable prediction.
That's
So
like a 200% increase.
yeah, it will continue to be pretty steep in the next, 3 to 5 years.
Okay.
And then I think there would also be like a, more of a slower growth phase where there has been adopted quite widely, and
Right.
the growth rate will slow down a little bit. But I totally believe that it will disrupt the traditional finance, and
Okay.
we'll see a lot of new innovations coming in the next 5 to 10 years. Yeah.
Okay. Well, DJ, thank you so much for all the insight. I think it's been very informative. So thank you very much. Um, uh, I'd love to give you some closing remarks. Is there anything that you'd like to say to anyone watching, you know, while working at Birdeye, Um, uh, is there anything else you'd like to say?
Can I give like a short advertisement of Birdeye? Like, everybody, let's use
Yes,
Birdeye.
yes, of course, definitely. Yes,
Okay.
please do, please do.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you a lot for having me on this podcast today. And I'm very excited to be sharing about Birdeye and about the report that we've been working on. And to anyone watching this, if you are looking for real-time price charts, smart money flows, and undiscovered gems, and your alpha traders looking for alpha, make sure to check out birdeye.so. And if you are developers looking for clean APIs on real-time data charts, check out Birdeye Data Services. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing. DJ, thank you very much.
Thank
I hope
you.
you enjoyed the questions. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Um, uh, and thanks for watching.